Good morning. So nice to have you watching us on a Tuesday that feels like a Monday for most of us here in the Tennessee Valley. Hope you had a nice Labor Day weekend and are looking forward to kind of some cooler weather as we head into the week. For all of you runners and exercisers out there, this cool weather is welcomed news, and we hope it will make you all the more encouraged to sign up for the Run4Love 5K. Our first guest this morning is Susan Matthews, who hopes whatever motivates you to get out there, you will just get out there and walk for a very good cause. So nice to see you.
Thank you so much.
You and I have had a chance to kind of have this conversation before the cameras begin to roll, and every time you and I talk, Susan, when you come on to do this 5K push, I'm just amazed at your heart. And it's not yours alone. This is a family love affair.
Absolutely, absolutely, and it's a team effort. I mean, we can't do the work that we're doing unless we have people that support us, and donors and organizations, and yes, the passion to just make a difference in one child's life.
Okay, so in case you are not familiar with Susan and the beautiful work that they do, how many years ago did y'all come up with the reasons, Love Without Reason?
Love Without Reason was founded actually 15 years ago. It's going to be our 15th birthday this year.
And it was all born from your own life's experience.
Yes.
Your beautiful son, Philip,
yes.
Who was born with, did he technically have a cleft palate, or was it other issues too, Susan?
He did, and it was syndromic, so it was Goldenhar syndrome was the name for him.
Okay.
For his syndrome that was affecting cleft lip, palate, right side of his face. He also had heart involvement, and his spine was also, and brain was involved.
So your whole family just jumped in as any family would, and you fought a very valiant fight for Philip to have a fantastic walk.
Yes,
for quite a number of years.
Yes.
But when you realized the blessings y'all were able to give to him, you realized that other people weren't quite so fortunate, so you found a way to reach out. Your husband actually goes to India, right? Several times a year?
Several times, and also Africa as well. Yes, because what we had here for Philip with the whole craniofacial team, led by Dr. Sargent, they had a map for Philip's life for the first 18 years of his life. Everything was staged, his surgeries, everything, and the whole team effort, all the different specialties of doctors and nurses and educators. It was incredible. And what we understood is that if Philip had been born in India, where we're from, or had been born in Africa, in the developing world, he would not have had these opportunities. He may not have even survived the 19 years that he did survive here.
What was shocking for me, because when you would first tell me these stories, I thought, okay, maybe it was just because the medical care would not have been there, and you were just sharing with me about a woman who was born with scar tissue, is that right?
Yes, ankylosis over her jaw, yes.
And so she came into this clinic years ago now,
yes,
at 30 years old, and she could not open her mouth, and you began to question it. She was very malnourished. She couldn't eat, so she had just put rice in her mouth as a way to survive.
Yes.
But because she was handicapped in that way, she had no voice almost.
That's right.
She became an easy target for other things, and that's an additional tragedy, right?
Yes, I mean, that's how they become vulnerable to human trafficking, and that's when we understood the link between craniofacial birth defects and human trafficking. We can literally prevent them from being trafficked by doing their surgeries.
The trafficked, sadly, is in multiple ways. I think, I don't know, it just never ceases to amaze me the horrible means some people will take to ruin somebody else's life. And you can't conceive of that when your mind doesn't work that way. So I was thinking, like most people, about the human trafficking and how we typically view that.
Yes.
You said that, be careful here, but that they can be taken for their organs.
Yes, I mean, there's all kinds of ways, unfortunately, that these children and adults are exploited. The human trafficking is the umbrella term. Underneath that is sex trafficking, which we're most common and most familiar with, but it could be sold into child beggary networks where they're forced to beg on the street, child soldiers, labor, even as brides. We've had some of our patients tell us that they were sold at age 15, 14 to a 50-year-old man, 60-year-old man as a bride, just because they're born with a different face.
So what you're saying is that when people come out, because the whole reason she's here is that they're doing your annual 5K, right? September 10th.
That's right.
This upcoming weekend. When people come out and the monies you raise from that effort, goes right back in to the work y'all are doing, truly boots on the ground where you see a difference every time you go.
Absolutely, and even though COVID has happened, you know, we were able to do 200 surgeries over this past couple of years, even with all the lockdowns and the challenges that had to be done, because it didn't matter. COVID was there. Children are being born every day with these clefts.
So are you telling me that in the 2 years of COVID, y'all raised enough money to be able to provide 200 surgeries for people? Were they all children, Susan, or were some adults?
No, some people wait decades for their first surgery. We've had 60-year-old patients, 70-year-old patients. I mean, and it's just incredible, and it's tragic. You know, there's stories that waiting for years for someone to help them.
Okay, I want to be careful how I tread here, but in this country, if you're going to have a surgery, that's a lot of money. Insurance becomes an issue, and it's a lot of money. So to think that you've done 200 of these, is it more affordable for the doctors to be able to do in Africa and India? Are you having to raise huge amounts of money? How is that working?
We are raising huge amounts of money, but on average, we would say that one cleft lip surgery costs about $1,000.
Okay.
And that's for us to bring the patients there, to transport them, to do their surgery, for their medication, the hospitalization, and to get them back home to feed them. Because sometimes, you know, the parents are traveling with them for, you know, 100, 200 miles to get to the hospital, to get to the place where they're getting the treatment. So it just takes all of that. It's about $1,000, where we used to call Philip our $1 million baby, because it's so expensive, healthcare and the access over here, you know, it's different.
So I guess that's one of the reasons why you do it there, because you have your roots in India. When you go, and your husband goes, I think, more than you, right?
Yes, definitely.
Does he come back telling you, you know, Susan, now that we're going and we're making these inroads, even as a society there, they're becoming more and more aware of what can be?
Yes, definitely. And we're, you know, we don't just take a team there and do the surgeries and come back and never come, you know, visit the place again. We have roots there, we have people on the ground there, and then our surgeons, our medical team, they're willing to transfer their skills. Our admin team, you're willing to, you know, do whatever we can to help and support the country, and also raise leaders in the country that will take care of their people.
Don't you have a school that you have there?
We don't have a school, but we're working in, you're talking about in the red light area.
Maybe
we're working,
so,
yes, with the women who are rescued from sex trafficking. There we are working in a school.
Okay, because so many of these women or girls they don't even read.
They can't read, or they were brought there as children. They were sold and trafficked as children. So they don't have the basics of reading or writing. And so when we're able to, I mean, how do you break the cycle of slavery? One way is education. That way you can break that cycle, and their children that are growing up in that environment, you know, they can actually dream about being a teacher or a doctor one day.
Something that you said that I really liked, because I think it's very easy to get overwhelmed, and gosh, you turn the TV on these days and most of us go turn it off, because it's just nothing but difficult news to absorb. And you said we reached a point where we can't think about what we didn't do or who we didn't reach. You just have to look at the one life at a time that you can touch.
Absolutely. And like you were talking about the 30-year-old that was born with the jaw problems, since her surgery, or I'm sorry, since we saw her in 2012, we've found maybe 5 to 10 other children with the same problem, but we found them in time to be able to do their surgery. So that's what we have to look at. You know, what are we going to do today? Who is the one that we can help today and make an impact, and you know, they will become world changers.
Okay, so on September 10th, it's happening at the River Park, right?
That's right.
The registration is how much?
It's $25.
Okay, so $25, and you can do the math. If you happen to have 100 people, that's one surgery, right? 25? No, bad math.
That's okay, I'm bad at it.
Allison was just telling me that she loves math. I could have used her a second ago, Allison Pryor. Sorry to my math teacher. 40 people.
Yeah, 40.
Sorry. It's early in the morning. Anyway, you get the idea. So if 40 people come, if you have 40 friends, grab your church. That's one surgery.
Absolutely, absolutely. And if you want to split it over, you know, a year, $100 a month on average, you know.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay, is there a deadline to register?
You can come in even on Saturday morning at 8 o'clock.
Okay.
And we'll be able to set you up there.
Is it only a run or can you walk?
You can walk, and we've even had people come in and stroll with their little baby strollers.
Okay, Susan, I love your heart. Thank you so much for
Thank
being
you.
here. And tell your daughter I said hey.
I will.
It's Love Without Reason, so it's the 5K Run for Love at the River Park. If you go to 5krun4love.com, the numbers, where the numbers are, that'll take you to the website, and then you can Google Love Without Reason and
Yes.
see all of the work that they are doing there. You'll be very touched by their family story.
Thank you.
Do you think they need to bring them to us on like a fancy tray, like
I think like a platter.
we need a maitre d'?
Yes,